Hello everyone, welcome to Lotus Heart Tarot. I'm so happy to have you here. We're going to dive right into your reading. We're going to actually begin by taking a look at what's blocking this situation. As you can hear, my grand dog is a joyfully playful pup this morning. She has her frog and her caterpillar all lined up over here. Box, will you go play with honey? All right, Spirit, can you please show us what is blocking the connection with Pisces? What's going on? Wow, okay. What is blocking? Okay. All right, we have being guarded on the bottom of the deck. We have unworthy, which is like probably, I would say, the most common. And we have holding on. This card came out, it didn't come all the way out. It flipped around like this and made it impossible for me to continue shuffling, which is definitely me knowing that we're supposed to look at this. It's not meant to be part of our reading. It's not that extreme, but it is a background situation. And we have confusion. You don't know what you want, so you need clarity before you get involved. You know, okay. Sometimes, oh my God, happens when we touch the something is too much. I heard part of a song. Sometimes when we touch, the honesty is too much. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? I can barely hear it, and that's all I'm getting. And I'm getting that twice like that. Okay, anyway, here we have, sorry, that song is really distracting me because I can't really hear it. Okay, I don't even know, I can't even tell if it's a man or a woman singing it. Like, I can barely hear it. Okay, anyway, what we have here, so, wow. When your brain is telling you, like, don't do this, or danger, danger, red alert, danger, not because, you know, someone's a sociopath, but because you're about to be vulnerable, or you're about to fall in love with someone, or you are falling in love with someone. That's kind of the vibe that I'm catching right here. And it's like, when your brain is telling you, it's not really your brain, it's your ego, but it's the loudest voice in the room, and it kind of controls our thoughts, right? So it's saying to you, stay safe, you know, shut down, be guarded. But your heart or your soul is like, this is a soulmate. I really want to open up to this. You know, this is what I've been looking for. That creates confusion, right? Because something is misaligned. And so we have this conflict within us that makes it impossible for us. I don't want to say impossible. I don't even really like that word. Impossible is I'm possible, right? But it makes it really difficult to kind of filter through what is my ego trying to protect me and keep me safe, and what is my heart telling me, and which am I choosing to listen to, because they're not in alignment. So, you know, if we're someone who has become heavily reliant upon our ego, chances are we're listening to our ego, and we're shutting it down. We're putting our guard up. You know, we're protecting the space within us that could easily be triggered by what our heart wants or what our soul wants. But that is what creates that sense of confusion, because it's like, it's not that straightforward. If the message is so clear that, like, I want to throw my guard up and protect this part of me that's vulnerable, do I feel so conflicted about it? That's what creates the confusion. Then you have this holding on, and it says you must release old ties in order to have a fresh start with someone new. Guys, I honestly, I can't tell if this is you or if this is your person. This can be friends, influences, family, culture, cultural ideas. It's giving me a very black and white energy here. Maybe even looking at things black and white here. It's like they're holding on, or you're holding on to something that I keep getting the word archaic, okay? And I don't know, I'm not totally sure how that relates, but it's giving me, it's like something old, something outdated, something, it's like, it could have even been in your lifetime, but it's like from childhood and it's no longer true, or it's like this one person 20 years ago broke my heart, and because of that, I haven't really allowed myself to feel anything for anyone else. And it's like I'm holding on to this old belief system, or who I was at that point before I learned that lesson and allowed this person in my life. You're not that person anymore. You learned a lot from going through that entire process and from the healing journey that you've probably been on for the last 20 years. Whether you were consciously aware of healing or not, time, space, distance, other experiences, different things sort of bring you through a process. You know, you can't be on this earth that long for a period of time like that and not be influenced, affected, or changed by it. So there's something here where, and I will say avoidance a lot of times will hold on to things for a really long time, because why? It bolsters their narrative. It becomes their reason for like justifying their behavior, running away from what they really want, right? So they could be holding on to a past heartbreak. They could be holding on to like some narrative. They could be holding on to whatever, you know, a decision they made 20 years ago, like, I'm never going to be in love again. I'm never going to let someone in like that. And maybe that was appropriate at that time because they had just gone through what they had gone through and they weren't ready for it, and they were wounded and they needed to heal and get their feet underneath them before trying something else. But this whole energy right here is really giving me an avoidant energy. You know, this is someone who, instead of really introspecting on why am I confused? Why is part of me fighting this? Is this really what I want? Is this narrative outdated, or is this still relevant? Why am I holding on to this? It's serving me somehow. How is it serving me? You know, instead of doing that kind of deep dive type, asking myself questions and introverting into it, you have someone that's sort of using it all as a justification, including the confusion. I just don't know what I want right now. I just can't figure it out. I'm going to go this old way that I've always been because that's what feels right now. Because why? It's serving the avoidant inside this person. It's serving the need to protect this. I don't want to do anything that's going to expose to me again that I might not be worthy. Listen, I recently listened to an Abraham Hicks video, and it was really good, and I don't know if I could find it again or not because it was a minute ago. But she was just talking about how when this isn't your narrative and you're kind of, other people are using you for their narrative, they're going to tell you you're not worthy. They're going to tell you you're not good enough. They're going to tell you that you're not capable, that you're not strong, that you're this, that you're that, in everything that they do, subtly and directly, pretty much, however they operate, right? Because why? Because you are serving a purpose for them. And the purpose you're serving for them is that they're okay and that they're good. And that's the only way they can feel good, is if they're better than the people around them. And it's a very hollow, sad existence, right? When you're trying to use everything around you and having to kind of tear it down. It's really just an example of you not wanting to look at this, right? And so people will put that on you throughout your entire life. Society's going to do it. Your family may do it. your people, that spouses may do that to you. All kinds of people may do that to you. They want you to reject yourself the same way they've rejected their self. It's not about whether there's truth in that space or not. Remember, on this channel, we talk about this a lot. There is no truth. There is not a chance in hell that you are unworthy. There's just not a chance. You are worthy. Are you alive? Yes. Are you a spiritual being having a human experience? Yes. Is your heart pumping without you thinking about it? Yes. Are you breathing, turning oxygen into carbon dioxide by pulling it into your body and keeping you alive and then expelling it? 100% yes. You are a miracle in motion. You are worthy. You are worthy by the very nature of your being. So this cannot be true, okay? We don't need to protect this space because there's no way that it's true. And protecting this space is what gets us into so much trouble throughout life. And listening to other people and questioning whether or not they may be correct about us, wondering, like, could that be true? Could I be that person? No, it's not. It is not true. You are worthy, okay? And so when we protect this space and we avoid all the beautiful abundance that is around us, that is available to us, because if we reach out and take it, we might get bit by it, and we might have to face that we're not worthy. That kind of drive is what really keeps, honestly, the entire world in a state of upheaval. Like, if we didn't question this, if we sat in the space of truth around our worthiness, every single one of us, we would not be where we are. We just wouldn't be. Okay. So let's see what's going on with this person. Let's see what they're feeling. Let's look at their emotions. Wow. Gosh, you guys, I mean, seriously, holy moly. So you have passion, you have uncertainty, you have confidence, and you have tenderness, okay? You can see the conflict, uncertainty and confidence right there. This uncertainty card, I'm going to read it. I feel guided to. Of course, I have to put my glasses on. Uncertainty is the feeling of not being able to foresee the future, bringing anxiety and unease. When uncertainty appears, it reminds you to embrace what cannot be controlled. Trust your intuition and courageously face the unknown challenges, for the future will gradually become clear. You know, the brave among us do this. The brave among us embrace uncertainty, embrace the unknown. Like, there used to be a commercial for like the army, like to sign up for the army or something, and it would say, courage is being afraid but doing it anyway. And I mean, I sat with that for all these years. That quote has stayed in my head. I can still see the commercial when I think about it. And it was like the USMC or something like that. Anyway, here's the thing. When we, like, well, how does a soldier go into battle? They prepare. They learn, they study, they learn how to use their tools. They learn they have their mind. Honey bunches, can you take your Halloween caterpillar into the hallway, please? Bogdy, will you go play with her, please? I know this little girl just wants to play today. How does a soldier train for war, right? I don't even like talking about war or anything, but it's the same way. It's the exact same thing for us, for anyone facing life, you know? We learn how to use the tools available to us, and it's our mindset, right? It's going into it knowing you have done every single thing you have to prepare for this moment. And you have made yourself as strong as you can, you know, as secure as you can as an individual going into a relationship, right? And you have learned how to use the tools of communication, the tools of, you know, bravery, you know, this is scary and I am vulnerable, you know, by the fact that we're all mortal, we're all vulnerable. You know, I am vulnerable. Like, I acknowledge these things and I don't let knowing them overtake my desire to like actually live and feel and be and have, you know, a better life, or, you know, whatever on the other side of this. And so when you go into a relationship or you're trying with another person, it comes down to how we deal with uncertainty, whether we weather the storm, whether we make it all the way or not. And, you know, if you get into a relationship with someone who weathers uncertainty bravely, and you weather uncertainty bravely, chances are you're going to have success. If you get into that space with someone who shuts down and tries to protect themselves and avoids uncertainty, life is full of uncertainty. You're probably not going to make it very far, right? And so sometimes words just don't work. You know what I mean? It's like, it's really hard to say, but sometimes they fall short. That's just all there is to it. If one of you is confident, if one of you is secure, and one of you is like an avoidant, you're gonna get in there, and the one that's secure is gonna be like, we got this, we can do this. They're gonna be the cheerleader, and their natural instinct is going to be to try to pull this one through. Is going to be, you know, just believe in it the way that I believe in it. Just trust me on this. And you got to think about it. Are you gonna trust, as a person, are you gonna trust that voice that's been in your head, that's been, you know, for better or for worse, kind of keeping you safe? Or are you going to trust someone who's asking you to face parts of yourself that are kind of scary? Hey guys, come on, let's go out here. You got all this space to play out here, and you can be wild. She wants to play. Okay, they're following me, so that's probably not gonna work, but I tried. She's playful and she's so cute, you guys. But so what happens, this secure person tries to offer their tools, you know, and they try to offer their confidence, and they try to offer their security. And that doesn't work. So then they try to be understanding. They try to hold space. They try to be tender. They try to show this situation care and be the safe place so that this person can trust this. And, you know, they're probably throwing some passion in between there, reminding this person of the chemistry of what brought them together in the first place. And even as they're doing this, it's like this person is getting farther and farther away. They're drifting. They're detached, and they're detaching. And then this person who was at one time confident and secure begins to be like, I just offered this person the best I had to offer. And I opened myself up, and I allowed myself to be vulnerable, and I allowed myself to feel, and I let this person in, and we had chemistry, and I gave them nurturing, I gave them love, I gave them, you know, a soft place to fall. I gave them everything that I had, the best of myself, and they're still drifting. And then we want this person to not take it personally, to not let it affect them, to not somehow, you know, sort of question themselves, or not have it impact their own, you know, sense of self, because it isn't a reflection of them. It's a reflection of this person needing to protect this inside them. So this isn't going to work. This showing someone tenderness and reminding them of the chemistry that you have, and being confident enough for both of you, is actually only going to exacerbate this in the other person. Because what they're seeing in you is that you feel worthy, and that you see them as worthy. And that's going to make them feel, I hate to say this because it's not the intention, but this is how it's showing me, more shame. That they really have to hide this. They don't want you to know. They don't want you to see their own sense of unworthiness. And they like for you to feel all these things for them. And so they want to protect that, because that the fact that you feel that for them gives them strength, or gives them hope, or gives them something. But and as bad as it is, it's good, you know, for them. But they also, it pushes this feeling, we reflect to each other, right? So if I'm looking in a mirror and the mirror feels worthy and I don't, all I'm going to see is my own unworthiness. I'm not going to see that person sees me as worthy and that person feels worthy. It's going to just reflect to me my own shortcoming and my own, because that's where I'm at. That's where my vibration is. That's what I'm looking for. That's the confirmation that I'm seeing in the mirror, right? And the darkness around that, and the feeling that I need to hide that, or I want to hide that because I want you to keep feeling this stuff for me, because that does sort of make me feel better. That darkness is shame. That darkness is guilt. That darkness is the validation for the unworthiness. This person has to choose for themselves to want to be happy and to want to experience something different. And they have to be willing to look at that. They have to be willing to sit with that and to figure that out. I remember the moment for me, the first moment for me. Well, first of all, I didn't realize that I felt unworthy, and I didn't realize that I felt unworthy, and I didn't realize like all the messaging from my home that I was receiving. Like, I knew I just didn't feel good, and I knew that, like, you know, there was something misaligned in my life. And I went to this youth group called Young Life when I was in high school with my friends. It was like the cool, popular thing to do. So like I did it. And, our leader, said, God doesn't make any junk. So like, if you're sitting here, you're not junk. And I like almost started crying. It hit me in my heart chakra, and I will never forget it. And it was such a profound realization, you know, and as I have moved on my journey, I still say that phrase, even though I wouldn't quite say it that way. But, you know, we are made in the divine likeness. Like, we are made of stardust. We are made, we have the divine in us. And like, we're not junk. And we're not a mistake, and we weren't made wrong, and we weren't, you know, we're not messed up, you know, and we are the only ones that can hold on to that pillar of truth within us. And we're the only ones that can grab hold of that pillar of truth and hold on when we need to. And use that pillar of truth to be our, magnetic north. We're not junk. We're made of the divine. We're not a mistake. We're not to anything or not enough of anything. We're exactly how we're meant to be. And every experience that we have is an opportunity for us to see that and for us to figure out how to become more of what we want to be, in this life. And what feels right for us. And including this. And I have a feeling because you're Pisces, you are the one that is experiencing most often giving everything you have to someone and then having them drift away and be detached, and then sort of sitting with that and wondering why it's not enough, why you're giving everything you have to a situation and it's not showing up for you, it's not responding to you, it's not coming around or coming together in a loving way to reflect that love back to you. And all I can say to you at this moment, and what I feel like is being driven home in this space right here, is that it's not you. You're not going to find the answer by digging into yourself here. You're going to find the answer by seeing what is really in front of you. And that is that you're dealing with someone who is guarded and protecting their own sense of unworthiness. And there's no amount of pouring into that cup and no approach that's going to work until that person decides to align with what you're offering them vibrationally. And that means that they have to say, I'm tired of feeling this way. I'm tired of living my life this way. And I'm tired of holding on to this old narrative that keeps me stuck this way. I want to change. I want to experience something different. And the moment they say that to the universe, the moment they admit that to themselves, the moment they claim that for themselves, you got a chance here. But there's no amount of you giving to this situation or to this person that's going to alter how they feel about themselves or what their strategy for navigating life is. That is something so uniquely personal and so deeply held inside each of us that is a choice. The only thing that you can do is let your life be your testimony and show people that you can be different. You don't have to be that way. That gives them the idea that they can choose something else, right? All right. Man, these messages, I don't know. Today, the moon is opposing Saturn, which is enacting Jupiter. I'm not an astrologer, so I don't really want to say, but even among astrologers, there's different opinions about everything. But there's a lot going on in the month of October that I feel, because I do, pay attention to these things in my own way. And to me, it's like there's a lot coming to the surface, okay? And it could get a little bit wonky out there, especially for empaths. I just feel that energy. So just protect yourself, be kind to yourself, and, take your precautions, how you take your precautions. But don't take things personally. Really and truly, every time something happens that could trigger you, I really feel like it's one of those things where it's like taking a breath, not reacting, taking the breath, seeing it unfold as the observer, and observing that, I'm sure it's another person that does this, but knowing that person has a whole rich internal life that is happening that, may include tons of suffering and tons of processing and tons of this that has absolutely nothing to do with you. And that is why you don't take it personally, because it's not yours. And so just do our best to kind of have our own force field up and let stuff roll off of us and bounce back, you know, return to sender. All right, so you have, I have the jealous type. I am the jealous type, so please do not try and test me. You know, where does jealousy come from? And, you know, the type of person, I am going to try to find this Abraham Hicks thing. If you want to hear the Abraham Hicks thing, I can't guarantee you that I can find it at this point, but if you do want to hear it, write it in the comments and remind me, because I know I'll forget by the time this is over. But especially with this quote, if any of this is resonating with you, it might be beneficial to watch that. So put it in the comments and I will try to find it if someone does. Also, I will pin that comment to the top, so I may not respond to each comment individually and put the link, but if you go to write it and you see someone else has already written it and then I have responded to them, that's the link, okay? All right. I have a lot going on right now, so it's hard for me to like be just like on top of everything. So you have, it's all wonderful, amazing opportunities that are incredible and I'm very excited about, but I also want to be committed to the things that I'm committed to and not be my air sign self and get swept up into all the pretty sparkly shiny things around me right now. Okay, so we have, it's not personal, but I need some time to think and figure things out. See that? It's not personal. I keep getting this message in this reading. It's not personal. Don't take it personally. Don't take it in. Don't try to make sense of it. Don't try to process it like that. It isn't about you. There's nothing that you could have said or done. There's no other way that you could have been. Do not fear that you said the wrong thing or that you didn't say something that you should have. It isn't about that. It is about what this person is trying to protect within themselves, okay? I have a plan for us, but it will take some time. Can you be patient a little longer? That's just telling me this person hasn't totally given up hope on this, and they are, you know, they are thinking about this and they are thinking about potentially trying here. I know you are sad, but I will make things right between us. This person feels guilty for hurting you. I have a lot going on in my life right now, and I can't give you the attention you deserve. What the hell did I just say to you? I'm going to pin the answer, the video link one time, and you need to find it for yourself, right? And because I can't personally go in every single time and put that link. That like literally I just said that to you, and that it's like you said that in this reading because that is a big part of what's happening here. I'm going to read it one more time. I have a lot going on in my life right now, and I can't give you the attention you deserve. I hope that you all know that I am extremely grateful for each and every single one of you, and I truly do have a space of love in my heart for every single one of you, especially the people that watch my videos over and over and over again. Not, I don't mean like you don't watch the same video over and over again, but like you have been watching my videos for a long time. I really hope that you can truly feel from me to you in these words, in this moment, how much you mean to me. I am so grateful for you, and I do have love in my heart for you, okay? The fact that I can't respond to every single comment or list the link for every single person, it's not because I don't want to. It's not because I don't care. It's because I have a lot going on in my life right now. And so literally, as not personally, as you're taking it for me to say that to you, that is the same for this person. Do you see what I'm saying? Don't take it personally. That you're not their priority, that you're not their whatever in this moment. Sometimes we have things in front of us that are like time sensitive and super important, and we don't control when they come up. Or, you know, I'm also getting the energy of like when it rains, it pours, kind of a vibe here. So just take that how it resonates, but they're like spirit's literally telling me like that you said that, and then this quote came out for a reason. Like as not personally as you take it here, take it not personally here. It's harder here, right? But still do it the same way. Do you see what I'm saying? It's the same thing. It's showing me. Okay, here we have it. Damn. You have the Hermit. It was coming out sideways. And then you have the 10 of Cups with the 2 of Cups. Listen, this person, okay, you have the Hermit coming out sideways. And this is because even in this person's aloneness, they are still protecting this part of them that feels unworthy. They still don't want to look at it. They don't want to face it. They're still protecting themselves from this being triggered, okay? And the Hermit is a deeply spiritual energy. And so they are by themselves. They are contemplating. They are looking at this as a loving relationship and something where they can really see themselves being emotionally content here, and that they do see this as a soul connection. Look at that. I knew Hangman underneath it, and the Hangman in this deck is called sacrifice. This person is being alone right now. It's like I am holding myself back from this relationship and from this opportunity at love. Like I am sacrificing this time, this energy, this love, but it's almost, it's giving me like this person is protecting themselves, but they're kind of telling themselves they're protecting you. So take that as it resonates, but that's what I'm getting. But with the Hangman, they're still hanging on. You know, even if it's been a while, this person is still hanging on. There's almost this sense of like, you know, I'm holding myself back from something that I actually want to, because it, in the long run, it's the right thing to do for you and for this and for that. Now, I'm getting that this is a bit of a lie. You know, I'm getting this is a bit of a, it's another way of protecting this space of unworthiness within them. But, and it's because it has everything to do, it relates back to the Hermit coming out sideways, okay? Which is like, I am by myself and I am focused on what I want and I am seeing you as what I want, but I'm not open to this like spiritual lesson. I'm not open to this like higher level version of myself that is going to tell me the truth, which is I am worthy. It's almost like this person's biggest fear is that they are worthy. Wow, that feels like a breakthrough. Okay. Damn. Oh my God. See, what is underlying all of this energy? We have the 4 of Cups. And this card keeps coming out for you guys. And literally, I had just meditated on it not so long ago. And it was really giving me this vibe, which it has given me in the past. But cards change in energy at different times for me. Or like, they always hold the same energy, I guess is what I want to say. But like, there's a focus on a certain aspect of the energy at times. And the focus on the 4 of Cups right here, right now for me is this. The universe is always passing me over. I'm just not one of those people that's meant to be happy, meant to have love, meant to have abundance, meant to have all of this stuff. I'm just not meant for that. The universe just hasn't given that to me, okay? And with the Star being in reverse, clarifying the Hermit, which came out sideways, you know, the Star is clarity and it is healing. And it is, you know, what it takes to heal is to sit with the truth that we have been avoiding or that we have not wanted to sit with. And then actually, as you begin to sit with those things, when they happen, you sit with them immediately. Like you don't first suppress them and then wait for them to come up and then sit with them and then let them go. You sit with it immediately. You go, oh, how am I feeling right now? Okay. what can I do about that? And, you know, again, it's like happiness at times is a choice, or it is a mindset. It is, I don't know how to describe it. And I'm not trying to get into the like, we should all be happy all the time and you need to be happy and blah, blah, blah. No, but what it is there are healthy choices. And when you're in a space of depression or you're in a space of heaviness or sadness, it can be very hard to make healthy choices, okay? It really just can be. It can be hard to get out of bed. And so once you're there, it can be really hard to get yourself out of it. But if you recognize how you're feeling and you're perpetually connected to that and you're perpetually paying attention to it and using it as a compass, you can sort of say, oh man, I'm not feeling too good right now. I'm not feeling too good today. And you can say to yourself, all right, what's it going to take? You know, sometimes the answer for me is like, I want to do something that's going to bring me joy. And then I look at you know, I go over the things that bring me joy. Taking a walk in my favorite garden space brings me joy. Painting brings me joy. Dancing with my dogs brings me joy. Baking brings me joy. Going around and, you know, working on my plants, you know, cutting off the dead leaves and fertilizing them and, you know, looking at whether they're happy in their environment or not, and then moving them around, all those things, that makes me happy. So then I'll choose from that thing, what do I want? Also, sometimes it's food related. Sometimes it's what am I watching on TV? What am I being exposed to? Is it having a positive effect on me or a negative effect on me? My grand dog is standing at my office door. Can you guys hear her talking to me? She's like, Grand Dogma, get out here and play with me right now. I know Bhakti won't play with you. And so you need me. You need me to come play tug of war. I know, little girl. I love you so. I love you so. So it's you know, it starts with those choices and those decisions. And once I start on the path of joy, like let's say I choose to go for a walk in the garden that I love to go. So as I'm walking, it gives me this space and this opportunity. It's almost kind of meditative. And I begin to be more present in the moment, and I begin to connect to my breath, and I begin to say, oh, see, things are not so bad, and like there are flowers blooming. And here, Bunchy, how about I give you a treat, and then I'll play with you, okay? There, yeah. And how about you too? You want one box? All right. Honey's like, there are two of you. One of you surely can play with me right now. But once I make the healthy choice, once I say, okay, just put your shoes on and let's go, you know, and of course, you know, I take my Jeep there and I have the wind in my hair and I have my music blaring and I'm happy before I even get there, you know, honestly. And so the thing is, like, it begins with making these choices, and the foundation of so much of it is really being willing to go there, being willing to look at the discomfort within, and not feeling like, oh, I don't want to feel uncomfortable. I don't want this. I don't want that. That's not what it is. It is, I'm observing that there's something that feels off within me, and I don't want this to get out of control, and I don't want to go down a bad path. You know, I want to be, you know, feeling great about life, and I want to be who I want to be in this moment. And I know that if I go down this path, I won't be. It's going to take me further away from that. So what choice can I make now that is healthy? And when you respond to your emotions in that way, and you respond to yourself in that way, in a loving way, and you go and do these things for yourself in that way, you're telling yourself that you love yourself. You're telling yourself that you matter, and that how you feel is important, and that how you feel is real. And so often in life, you know, people want to tell us, oh, you shouldn't feel that way. Or like, I literally had this person apologize to me and the other day and say to me, like, it was just one of those really backwards apologies, like that starts with I'm sorry, and then where it goes after that is insane. It's like, I'm sorry that you have a whole host of problems, blah 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 blah, you know. And it's like, okay, great, that just completely pointed out a whole bunch of things, especially since I didn't even ask for an apology. I was letting it go anyway. But whatever. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, you are showing up for yourself. And when you show up for yourself, you know what? People can give you those apologies that are almost like, well, they're not almost, they are insulting. They are offensive. They are ridiculous. They are like, I actually don't give a crap about you, you know, in an apology kind of thing. And you're like, okay, whatever, fine. You know what? I don't have time for that. I don't even care, you know? Like, if that is how you're going to treat me or how this is, then I'm happy to know that. And I'm happy to just keep moving on, you know? Like, I'm not even worrying about it, which I already knew that to begin with. Like, I didn't even need an apology. But anyway, with with the sun being in reverse, it is like this person isn't really in a space where they have figured that out, where they are choosing, where they are making healthy choices for themselves and observing their feelings. They're identifying with their feelings and getting swept up in their feelings. And then when they're feeling really bad, they're looking outside themselves and going, what do I want to fix this? What is going to make this better? What is going to take me out of this? And you see it here in their words, right? Because it says, I know you're sad, but I will make things right between us. They're feeling guilty because you were only offering them something so beautiful and so pure, and they couldn't accept it. They drifted away from it, and they know that's going to make you feel rejected, just like it would anybody else. And they know how that feels because they feel rejected by the universe. And then it says, you know, I have a plan for us. Can you be patient just a little longer? They're telling themselves, I'm going to eventually make this right. You know, I'm eventually going to do the right thing. I'm making a plan, and they probably are. They're probably thinking, this is what I'm going to come in and I'm going to be the hero. They may even be picturing themselves or visualizing themselves coming in and fixing the situation. But those things are not the answer. Those things are sort of perpetuating where they're feeling, because the other side of those quotes, when they're not feeling positively about things or not trying to make themselves feel better about things, they're in the dark hole of, God, this person just offered you all this love and this soft place to fall, and they were a beautiful angelic being, and you rejected them, and you did this and you did that, and you couldn't open up and you couldn't accept it, and they're beating the crap out of themselves over it and making themselves feel worse. And we see the sun in reverse, and that's exactly what it's showing us. It's like they're trying to focus on what they want. They're trying to focus on the star and the lantern. They're trying to figure out what outside themselves is going to make themselves feel better. And all this time, and we see this here with what is blocking the connection, that they're guarding this unworthiness. The answer lies inside them. The answer lies in looking at, why do I feel unworthy? What am I feeling that's making me feel this way, react this way, and do these things in life? You see what I'm saying? Then you have the 10 of Cups being clarified by the star in reverse. This is an underlying belief that this person believes that somehow fate or the universe or whatever is here does not want them to be happy. They may feel they have incurred bad karma and they don't deserve it. They may have been told their entire life, you're not worthy, no one could love you, no one could ever want you by multiple people. That usually tends to be a pattern that we end up choosing over and over again in life if we experience it once. But this is an underlying thing where it's like, that just isn't meant for me. Happiness is not meant for me. Emotional contentment with other people, I can't do that. That's cut off from me. The universe doesn't want me to have that. The universe wants you to have it. The universe wants that for everyone. No one is cut off from that. Wow. All right. So we have we have there. Okay. I'm trying to get a read on how to answer this, or how to not answer this, but to put this into words. And what we have is the Strength card, and we have the Tower card, and we have the King of Wands. This is happening in this person's life for a reason. This is trying to break this faulty foundation that they've built their entire life on, which is that they are not worthy, or built their entire life trying to protect, put walls around this crack in the foundation that is, I'm not worthy. And how they're being challenged into this awakening is through wanting, I think, this connection with you, or wanting you. And the challenge is, this is what you have to do in order to be able to go after it. You have to become okay with uncertainty. And you can't be okay with uncertainty when at the foundation of your belief system is that you're not worthy. Because if you really think that at the foundation of your belief system, everything in life is going to prove that to you. So you're not, or you're afraid to find it out. You're afraid to have that be exposed again and again and again, because nothing is more painful than that. Really and truly, that's like, you're just a piece of junk. You're just a piece of scum. And like, nothing is worse than that. That's self-rejection. And that's way worse than being rejected by another person. And so we have to fix that unworthiness piece in order to be able to have a different experience. In order to be able, that has to, everything we've built trying to protect that and guard that belief has to come down. And it's got to be open, and it's got to be vulnerable. You know, it's like if you have gangrene in a wound, you know, a terrible infection in a wound, you're not going to get it better by putting a Band-Aid on it. You have to open it up and get the infection out. You have to take the medicine. You have to do the thing that needs to be done in order to heal that infection. And you can't do that. You can do that, but you're likely not going to be doing that if what you're doing is just pretending that it's not infected by covering it with a Band-Aid, or telling yourself, I'm doing what's necessary to heal this by putting a Band-Aid on it. You know, that's not going to heal infection. Infection is going to grow, and it's going to kill you. You see what I'm saying? And so this person, this tower, is an opportunity that is happening in this person's life in order to shake the foundation and expose this unworthiness, and have this person have the opportunity to have a breakthrough and to choose something else and to see something else here. It does feel like it's coming in the form of you, okay? And with the Strength card, you know, This is where we have the potential to overcome our lower vibrational tendencies. Each and every one of us has the what it takes to overcome our lower vibrational tendencies within us at all times. It really begins with the choice that I don't want these lower vibrational tendencies to continue to dictate my life or to continue to be the driving force of my experience. I want something different for myself. All right. This reading is literally insane. I don't know. And sometimes it's wanting something that causes us to do it, to face it. All right. So this is gonna, this person does have this opportunity to overcome this. With the Seven of Pentacles, there have been a lot of seeds planted here. They may have even been planted by you in these moments of tenderness where you were trying to give this person a safe space to feel their feelings, to get to the bottom of it. It really feels like generous, this tenderness, and beautiful. And you will be rewarded for this tenderness, rest assured. But there is this, you know, there have been seeds planted. There may have even been wins that this person has even had in their own life, unrelated to you and unrelated to this, where the universe was giving them an opportunity to see, you know, their life isn't all bad, but we tell ourselves a bunch of stuff about our history. We hold on to things and we let go of things. And typically the things we hold on to are the things that didn't go right. And the things we let go of are the things that did. And so this person has had wins. They have had different things. They may have had success in a business, or success in a career, or maybe they have children. Maybe they have, you know, they were able to purchase a car or a house or something, you know, like it can be material goods, but it can also be other forms of abundance where, I mean, maybe they have an education, maybe they have, you know, it's hard to say, but for everyone, it's going to be different. There are things that can point to this person having been successful, or not being true, that they've just been passed over by the universe, right? And that they're not meant for happiness. And with the Seven of Pentacles here, these are just seeds that have been planted. This can even be, remember how I was saying to you, you know, your life is a testimony. So when you show this person, there's a different way to be, there's a different way to live, there's a different option and opportunity. That can even be, you know, a seed that's planted in someone's life, that like, oh, there is a choice. I do have a choice. These are all things that have been planted in this person's path in their life, that if they look at them, you know, they have this opportunity to make this choice, and they have this opportunity to look at their life very differently. There are seeds of truth that have already been planted here that, you know, this person can look back and say, yeah, there is evidence. There is evidence that I'm worthy here, here, and here in my life. You know, this kid that I have, this job that I got, this education that I got, this, you know, the fact that Pisces loved me. There are these markers in their life that are showing them, or that are there to remind them, anchors or markers. I don't know. I'm getting like such a weird thing around this. That are proof that, like, yeah, you can, the universe hasn't passed you by at all, you know? And these are fortifying things, you know? And then you have with the Tower, this oppression card is the Tower card, and you have the Judgment card in reverse. This is saying, like, all the decisions and choices you've made have been based on the premise that you're not worthy. And so the fundamental part of the choice was wrong. That's why you have gotten the result you have gotten. It's because what you were basing your choices on was, what you got was a reflection of what you were basing your choices on, not a reflection of what the universe is willing or not willing to provide for you. And once you have this breakthrough, look, the Ace of Pentacles, damn, with the Hermit underneath that, you guys, seriously, what the hell? We do have Leo, Scorpio, and Virgo energy here primarily. And we saw the Hangman, and we have Aquarius, and we also have Pisces. But what is the Ace of Pentacles? But it is an opportunity. It's potential that the universe is putting in someone's place, in their field, right? That holds potential. And what happens with that depends on the choices that this person makes. Does this turn into the Ten of Pentacles, or do we miss this opportunity? It's based on the choices that we make and how willing we are to persevere through obstacles, through all kinds of stuff, right? So this person wants this. And this is showing me choice. This is showing me I know what I want, and I'm in an energy to go after it. And this energy is being fueled by and coming from this awareness of, okay, the reason it hasn't worked out in the past, the reason, you know, I've gotten the results that I've gotten is because of what that choice was based on. I'm making a choice that I want this and that I'm going to go after this. And I am going to do everything that I can, right, to wrangle the beast within me that tries to tell me I'm not worthy. I'm going to remind myself of every past success that I've ever had. And I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to try to be brave. I'm going to try to be strong. I'm going to try to face uncertainty with courage this time. Okay? We got the Four of Cups with the Prince of Swords, with the Chariot. Oh, with the Four of Swords on the bottom of the deck. Guys, okay, this is just like, whoa. The Four of Cups with the Prince of Swords, this is like, this person is having this awareness, and it's almost like I'm keeping a watch for any time I start to tell myself or start to feel that the universe has passed me by, or that I'm not worthy. It's like I'm keeping a watchful eye on this energy. I'm being the observer of this energy for myself. Whenever this creeps up, I'm going to sit with it, and I'm going to release it, and I'm going to let it go. I'm not going to suppress it. I'm not going to let it fester. I'm not going to do what I have always done and let it control me. I'm going to see it for what it is, an untruth. I've had this huge realization that, you know, this is where I go wrong. And so I am going to be observant and watching out for this energy, and I'm not going to let it do to me what it has done to me. Because why? We have the Chariot here. I am moving forward with my life towards success and victory in a much more balanced way, body, mind, and spirit. Yeah. This person, it's like, let me see what's under this tower. Oh yeah, man. When we have really powerful, awakenings or like aha moments, I have goosebumps everywhere. When we have these kind of like earth-shaking moments of divine intervention where something is clearly put in our path, I'm also getting a lot of heat on the left side, like left ear area. When we have these moments of, you know, nothing will ever be the same. It's like that moment where my young life person told me, told the whole class, God doesn't make any junk. Like, as soon as I heard that, it rang true to me. And as soon as like that hit me, I could no longer accept kind of like being treated like I was junk, you know, or like there was something wrong with me. You know, it's like it turned a switch within me where I was like, no, 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 no. And that's when I kind of stopped speaking to my parents. That was the first time I stopped speaking to my parents. And it fortified a certain part of me that has never really wavered for more than a moment. And it has kept me strong, and it has kept me moving forward. And it is the part of me that like my family has really tried to rip apart. You know, my family is always like, you're terrible, you're this, you're that, like blah, 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 blah. Like everything I do, no matter what, like how nice it is, or what my intention was behind it, they twist it into I'm a terrible person because I did this. Like staying with my mom in the hospital, she was like, the only reason you did that is because you're a martyr and you wanted credit for doing that. I'm sorry, no. I have a husband I love and kids that I love that I did not spend an entire summer with so that I could sleep in your hospital room because you had strokes and would forget that you couldn't get out of bed and you weren't in 24-hour care, and I didn't want you ripping the IV out of your arm again, so I slept on your couch every day. And if you think I did that because I wanted to be a martyr, like, wow. They were trying to convince me that I was not a good person, that I was doing things for bad motivations. You know what I'm saying? And you know, as a kid, I would cave and I would look at myself and I'd be like, man, are you really like that? You know what I mean? My mom used to call me Sarah Bernhardt all the time. And, you know, just stuff like that. And I would be like, oh, you know, oh my God, maybe that's true. Well, as soon as those words hit me and resonated with me, I would never believe something like that again. And my family would just turn up the volume, turn up the volume, turn up the volume, and try to twist and convolute things even more. But there was this part of me, this fundamental part of me that recognized that as the truth, that would never be twisted, that would never allow them to twist it. And man, did it drive them crazy. And man, did they do everything they could and try their asses off to twist that part of me. And I would not let them, because that truth rang so clear. And that's this tower moment for this person. They'll never be the same again. When they hear themselves say, I am not worthy, or anything that is a reflection of that, they will see the dishonesty in it. Does that mean they're not going to make mistakes? Does that mean that they're not going to, you know, does that mean they're going to just be brave in all things? No, it doesn't. You know, I still have had a long journey. You know, I was like maybe 16, 17 years old when someone said that to me, and I still had a long, long journey ahead of me. But there was this seed within me that would not be twisted or would not be turned. And that seed gave me what I needed to persevere through all of the challenges that came to that belief. Do you see what I'm saying? And so this person is developing here, that they're getting a truth that is divine intervention, that is shifting and changing something within them, that will be a full stop when those things are challenged. You know, so what does this mean for you? This person, are they going to be able to face uncertainty with you? Are they going to be able to partner up with you and face uncertainty with you? Well, there's a hell of a lot better chance, right? And that's all I can say, is that now they have something within them that won't be shifted, that won't be changed, that won't go as deep or as bad as it went before. And that they have this space within them where they know this truth that, you know, shifts what they've been trying to protect their whole life, what they've been trying to avoid their whole life. So the thing about attachment style, and when I'm talking about avoidant, I am talking about an attachment style. I extremely highly recommend to every single one of you to, if you don't know about attachment style, find out about attachment style, because it's something that we can change. It's something that we can shift. If we're anxious or we're avoidant, we can move to a secure attachment style. if we are dealing with someone who is anxious or avoidant, there are tools and there's a lot of research and there's a lot of good information out there that can show you how to be the kind of partner your person needs to shift into the more secure attachment style, right? Because if you're secure, you think, okay, if I just show you, I'm going to love you unconditionally and I'm safe and I want this, I'm passionate about this, then they're going to believe it and they're going to respond in kind. But that isn't how it is, not until you're secure. And so someone with avoidant and someone with anxious, they're going to see this as like scary stuff. They're not going to see it the way that you mean it to be, or the way that it truthfully is. Because they're not in a position to receive it. And so you can be the person that helps them move that to a space where they can receive this, where they can accept and appreciate this. Okay, and there's something, it seems like, that is happening with these towers. It's just one tower, but it's being reflected here because it's showing you what this is doing. That is helping you, that is aligning with this, okay? It's still a road to go, right? You know, I'm 50, I'll be 51 like this week. I keep forgetting it's my birthday. But yeah, I will. And so I'll be 51, holy moly. And the thing is that, boy, did that get me off track. But it took me from the path that I have gone from, 16, 17 and hearing God doesn't make any junk to where I am at 51 is huge. It's huge and it's not huge. It's so crazy because I think I look back at that 16 and 17-year-old girl and I am so grateful to her. And I think she was so brave and so strong and so incredible. And she is the foundation for 51-year-old me. And I'm proud as hell to say that, that is where this person is in their journey. They are having a major moment that is, earth-shattering for them. And there's a lot of things coming together to make that so for them in this moment. And it is, this Five of Cups, this is like where I look back on myself. Like I look back on myself, the person I was before somebody said God doesn't make any junk, and like where I questioned whether I was drunk or not. Well, I didn't really question it. I pretty much thought that I was. And I cry for that person. I weep for that person. I weep that anyone should ever think that or should ever feel that. I have so much empathy and compassion for it. And that's how this person is. This is clarifying the Chariot. This doesn't leave you. It doesn't go away. It fuels you. It reminds you. And it also, a big part of the Chariot energy is balance. And a big part of the Chariot energy is that it is moving towards success and victory. And it's on a journey. It's not success and victory right now, right here, right? It is, I came from here, but I always have this opportunity to come out of here, to not be this anymore, to not, I'm not stuck. I can't do anything about those days and those hours and those moments and those decisions and the life that I led until this point that was based on this faulty belief system that I wasn't worthy. But I can come out of there charging. I can come out of there balanced by this. With yin and yang, right? There's always darkness in the light. There's always light in the darkness. And sometimes the darkness in the light is that the darkness that we had to live through to get to the light, to find the light. And that's what I get here. And it's like, this is a point that I will always reflect back on and say, look how far I've come in a way too. Then you have the Prince of Swords here. That is the observer of this energy of I am not worthy or the universe has passed me by. The universe doesn't care about me. I'm not meant for good things. I'm not meant for abundance. I'm not meant for you know, the 10 of Cups, emotional contentment with another person. With the Four of Wands, this is like, my thoughts create my reality in a kind of a way, where the Four of Wands is this energy of, you know, calling down from the ethers into reality. And it's almost like this person is saying, the only thing that is preventing me from pulling down from the ethers into reality what I want is this belief that I don't deserve it, or that the universe won't listen to me, or that the universe hasn't listened to me, or doesn't care about me. That's what prevents me from being able to do this. I have to be a clear channel in order to do this. And there is a celebration. We have 4 fours here, you guys. I mean, 3 fours here, you guys. We have the Four of Cups, the Four of Wands, and the Four of Swords all right here. This is this person, their foundation changing. Their foundation being this, you know, belief that the universe doesn't care about them, the healing from it, and then I create my reality. I am co-creating with the universe. I can do this. That's this realization. This person will never be the same. Oh, the other way that I know that, the other way that that was confirmed to me is that underneath this is the Queen of Wands. And we had the King of Wands. This is the divine pair, but it also is, she is a manifester. She is someone that doesn't chase, doesn't cling, doesn't run from, doesn't hide from. She sits in her chair and she stays in touch with what she wants and her ability to pull it down for herself. She doesn't even break a sweat. All right, guys, this is a crazy reading. If you're dealing with a water sign, you have my nerves get the best of me sometimes, distant, guarded, and anxious. That is in alignment. If you're dealing with a fire sign, you have excited, stuck, my karmic story is ending, and secret. If you are dealing with an earth sign, you have fantasizing, good intentions, suddenly all the songs I hear are about you, and you were so unexpected. Okay, and then with the air sign, you are getting no one else matters now. Be patient with me, please. I am still moved by you, and blocking. All right, guys, this is what I have for you. I really hope it helps. I hope it brought you some peace and clarity. Thank you for going on this journey with me. It really was a beautiful journey. And, you know, I do, you know, we're all spiritual beings having a human experience. And here we are, you know, that's what we see. And gosh, guys, what an honor it is to read your cards and to have and to share this time with you. And I know this reading was super long. And to those of you who stayed until the very end, my deepest gratitude. Until next time, I send you off with all my very best. Always, always, always. Bye-bye.